Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Excuse me. What's up? And I just realized I forgot something, so I actually have to be right back. 1 minute. There. That's a better view. Enjoy the view. I'll be right back. Ooh. Oh, off to a rocky start today. Oh. Mm. Mm. And nobody. Oh, excuse me. Nobody's here yet anyway. Oh, I hate to say I hope y'all enjoyed that video today because it's just not really an enjoyable topic. I do wonder about the verbiage thing though. Like she specifically says she's not going to engage with the whole idea of gender identity because she thinks that term doesn't mean anything. And like there's at least two different definitions of discrimination going on as well, I think. Hey Bill, how you doing? Still stressed, I'm sure. I'm sorry. Yeah, and I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know exactly. I certainly don't know Australian law like very well, but I don't know. What did you think of that? The whole what is discrimination anyway? Because yeah, she makes the point that if you're going to have anything for any specific group, you're going to you have to discriminate uh who isn't is not a member of that group. Yeah, it's not much longer though to go. Yeah, right on. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Like I'm so looking forward to actually having a couple of days of not doing YouTube. No offense to anybody. This has been fun and very educational, but also exhausting. So, and I have no idea what next week's video is going to be about because I have exhausted basically all my ideas for the next 6 months. Uh, but I'm looking forward to doing basically anything else. You know, when I'm not doing mom stuff, I am doing YouTube stuff. That is how it's been for, oh, I don't know. Has it been 4 weeks or five? I've genuinely lost count. It kind of tells you everything you need to know, I guess. Oh, wait, where's that thing? There. Yeah, you watched the video. What did you think? I could talk about it all day, and I'm really looking forward to watching it with my web developer friend on Tuesday. Because I'm sure he doesn't know anything about that. And I think his conservative ass, his American conservative ass, is going to be sort of floored by all that. Because it's ridiculous, even by their standards. It was interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I know that case is upsetting, like I say. Frankly, with how things have been lately, as long as it was coherent, then I am very happy. I think it was. Watching it back, it feels tight to me, you know. Ultimately, I feel like it's really important that spaces exist where trans people can feel accommodated in other spaces which exclude trans folk for those who need them. Yeah. And like, she even says the only problem is that they're trying to take rights away from other people. That's it. That's the problem. The problem is not that trans people want spaces. Goodness knows. Like with the lesbian bar thing as an example, if there's a space for lesbians to go who don't want to share space with trans women, there's no problem there. Right, right. And vice versa. Okay. Leaving my own personal opinion about anybody else's life out of the equation. If a group of people identifies around a label and they want to gather together and I'm not a member of that group, then I don't actually see what that has to do with me at all. What up, kitty cat? Nice and early today. How you doing? No, and Sal also makes the point that saying that sex can be changed also theoretically eliminates all strictly male spaces in Australia, so that's fun. I don't know how many of those they have left over there, but get ready, I guess. I don't know. Because nobody can say no to anybody over there. Um, I don't know. He cited a precedent. You know, she may have been, Sal may have been a little bit hyperbolous. I don't know this, but okay. They may have some precedent over there that you're supposed to, jump through a certain number of hoops before you get counted as the opposite sex. I don't know if they have self ID in Australia, or do you actually have to like have counseling and surgery and whatever. I don't know that. Doing good. I'm up because I'm packing for my camping trip. Oh yeah, right. You're right. Happy birthday. The argument usually is that trans women and trans men are men and women, therefore should be treated exactly the same as natal men and women in all circumstances under the law. Right. Which doesn't work. Because they aren't the same, otherwise they wouldn't be trans. Again, just leaving my own feelings out of it. You're welcome. You're leaving my own feelings out of it. Just logically, that doesn't follow. It doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is that the argument relies on a philosophical belief that not all of society shares. Right, as opposed to the material argument, which we all have to deal with. Otherwise, again, if a trans woman were just a woman, then they wouldn't be trans. Just logically. The idea that there's no difference is a logical fallacy, regardless of how anybody feels about that. And it's a belief that I don't think is very easily defended. No, because it's based on a logical fallacy. Even accepting its own terms. It's really exhausting talking about the difference thing with these TRA types. Oh, I'm sure, because it goes against the grain. That's very much against the flow of things there, isn't it? On the other hand, I gather you have a lot more patience for that kind of thing than I do, so kudos for that. Like on the surface, they'll claim, of course, we recognize that trans women and natal women are different. Because they have to, otherwise yeah. Everything else is, rests upon that. Their dysphoria rests upon that difference, right? It is the source of their discomfort, is it not? But whenever that difference is referenced in law or policy, they bristle, even if it's referenced in polite conversation. Yeah, because, okay, like I'm saying, I think that difference is the source of their discomfort, at least in their mind. The difference between themselves and a natal woman is the source of their discomfort. So, of course, they don't like talking about it. That's just what gender dysphoria is, right? Because, again, it's not about gender. It's gender presentation, gender roles. It's about natal sex. It is. Wanting to be the other one. You'd think that, but some TRAs are trying to erase even that language. Yeah, no, I know. Like Jessie Gender described the facial feminization she got as facial harm. I know. It's weird. It's like that. If everyone is a woman, no one is. Basically. It's great stuff. The idea is about making her body harmonize with like mystical soul aura or whatever. Yeah. Oh my goodness. If I had to wait and venture a guess, I would wager that if Jesse Gender has spiritual beliefs, it has something to do with aliens. Which, like, genuine random side question. I do not understand why exactly are spirit mediums hanging out with alien abduction people. I truly like that's not okay. Even if you believe that you're telepathically communicating with beings from another planet, those are still just other material beings you're communicating with, which is like not what mysticism is, which is the whole fucking point. But mysticism is you're supposedly communicating with beings that are immaterial. That is the whole point. So that's not what that would be. I don't know. The alien people frustrate me because I don't believe in extraterrestrials. Oh, I know that's suddenly an unpopular opinion, but what up, Joe? Like, I've never heard someone go into depth about transness from any different perspective who doesn't sound alerts about stuff. Who doesn't sound like they just a bit dense and gullible. Right on, right, yeah. I'm being extra spicy today, probably the stress. It's okay. I just dropped a spicy meatball myself. Hi, Bill. Hi, Sarah. I have no opinion on aliens. Right on. To be fair, there's also that one detransitioner who describes himself as a soul artist. Yeah. So it's not just trans folks. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no. I hope it did not sound like I was implying that it was, because I know that. I know. I think a lot of people have, their own stuff that they believe in, especially these days. But, like, no, you didn't sound like you were implying that. Okay. Um, just want to make sure we're clear. Better to over explain and leave things unsaid. As far as, yeah, the other thing, Joe, we were talking about a minute ago is the idea of gender transition becoming more in alignment and harmony with one's soul, you know? I mean, heck, a lot of the track on Abigail Shapiro type stuff about women's like essential soul essence or whatever usually ends up sounding quite magical. Yeah. Yeah, it does. Well, on the other hand, people like Abby Shapiro and Trad Wives, Abby Shapiro is Jewish, I believe, but it's the same principle where they don't make any bones about being religious, which I will say that. I will say that. Like that Rachel Wilson lady the other day leads off with the academic sounding stuff and how she's just trying to make an argument to question feminism and whatever, but they do come right out and say that they think it's against God. They do come out and say it, which is nice in a way, because then that lets us go, wait, no, though. No. That's absurd. Thank you for, giving us a heads up that we can just pretty much disregard everything else you've said. At least we don't have to listen on the basis of you just being generally right about things. Funny thing about her is she's not like wrong. She just thinks it's because demons. Like at the very least, they have to use these unfalsifiable rhetorical devices to claim that their specific vision of womanhood is secretly what all women subconsciously desire or something. Yeah. Yeah. Which that's mean. That's terrible. That's not you guys, but the assuming that you know what's good for someone else. I'm not gonna say that I never do that. I project based on my own experiences, but again, I try to come at it from a constructive versus destructive mentality. There are other things. There are things that might be constructive and joyful and wonderful for other people that I do not enjoy. Okay, I've definitely encountered that quite often in my life. So that idea does not surprise me. at all. And I definitely try and take that into account. But on the other hand, there are certain things like not sleeping regularly and not eating well and not exercising and spending too much time doing this, that, and the other thing that, like, we all know this stuff. I speak from that kind of shit that is destructive to the individual, like physically and mentally. Not necessarily like being homosexual is not in that list. Okay. Like, that's not. People seeing demons everywhere, so it must be true. Oh my god. Well, I see a bunch of them right now. Ha 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 ha. Which I don't know. In mythology, that's one of the great truths, right? We are so biased against destructive forces as living beings. We're biased on the side of continuing to live and growth and constructive forces. Okay, obviously we have a strong bias on the side of life because we are alive and we do not want to die, right? So to us, destruction is evil. Destruction is bad. And that's one of the great, like, mystical truths of some faiths, right? Is that no, destruction is necessary. Destruction paves the way for fresh creation, right? And it's a cyclical thing. This is like a sacred truth in a lot of places that I've encountered. So, but the fact that you have to, kind of learn that and sit back and go, oh, yeah, I see that. Our, immediate impulse is destruction bad because it could fucking kill us. So the idea that you could then apply that to, the devil, that maybe this concept, this spiritual idea, this whole school of thought, this whole, that whole side of things that has been demonized, maybe is part of the natural cycle after all. That's not such an outrageous concept. Oh, good. The old man across the street has decided to make a bunch of fucking noise again, just like he was yesterday. Sorry about that. I can't control him. Ooh, no. I've decided that humans have created a horrific reality that can't help but hearken its own demise, so I quit. Right, but so, like you say, that's our doing. And our culture has been really tilted and really twisted and really for a long time. And it's interesting. I can't. Rachel Wilson brought up a lot of stuff I knew about already, but I've been thinking about, like those old Christian mystic communities, the Shakers, the Quakers. Okay. I literally lived for several years in a place called Shaker Heights. Okay. So, like, I'm familiar with the Shakers and the Quakers. And like I was saying the other day, New Harmony is one of their experimental communities. I think that was the Quaker. I don't remember which one it was anymore. There were so many of them back in the day. And they were Christian communities, but they were like mystics, which is just not something that all those, Bible thumping, rule following, by the letter conservative types like to think about. They don't like that shit at all. The Shakers were the only religious community I ever enjoyed visiting more than once. Right on. Yeah, and I guess the Quakers were celibate, so they're not around anymore. But all this stuff came out of the Reformation, right? So there just wasn't anything but Christian thought in the Western world at that time. You know, was I supposed to? No, I think the Shakers are still around, and the Quake. One of them was a branch of the other, and I can never keep them straight. And one of them is still around, and one of them was celibate and is not. So, I'm pretty sure the guy on the oatmeal box represents the group that's no longer with us. Right. But I don't remember. I don't remember. And like I say, they weren't the only two. They're just the most famous. The Shakers are the celebrant ones. They're only two. They're still around. Wow. Anyway, whatever. I said I can't keep it straight. I can't. But I am familiar. I'm going years back. I'm familiar with this whole idea. Uh and for the last 200 years or something, we've been perfectly happy to give the East all the credit for all the mystical shit. But like, no. No. Not by a wide margin, not by a long shot. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Rachel accidentally admitted in Wednesday's video that socialism has Christian mystic roots, which might be a fun little, nugget to turn into in a video sometime. Quakers and Shakers sound like the new dance trend. Yeah, well, that was their mystical thing was that they would get up and shake around and speak in tongues like Pentecostals do. We do quaking and shaking. Yeah, right. Yeah. And this is why they called themselves that. But in order to be moved by the spirit, like that's spirit channeling. Hello, like that's a step away from all that spiritualist shit that she was talking about from the 19th century. It's like, where the hell do you think that came from? Because in the Quaker religious Shakers, whatever, you're not like you're in a religious group, waiting as a group for somebody to be taken by the Holy Spirit. Like it can happen to women too, right? And there's still this notion lurking from the ancient past that women are somehow closer to nature, right? Like more in tune with the spirit world or whatever. So, and I wonder why that might be. I wonder why that idea is so persistent. Players are pretty cool. They mostly meditate unless someone feels called to speak, and they are pacifist and they're always involved in anti-war everything. Nice. Next week, once I'm not in my rot era, I'm gonna start a religion called the Rotters. We lie in bed all day and rot. That's the one rule. I'm sorry. I feel like someone started that religion without you. Or maybe it'll just be really easy for you to pick up acolytes because I've noticed that that's already a thing. Me silly. Yeah, no, I know. Quakers, damn it. Okay. Quakers are pretty cool. Okay, whatever. The ones you visited, they were pretty cool. That's great. Got a new phone. And the talk to text is even worse. I don't understand. I thought the new iPhone is supposed to be like run on AI, so talk to text should be fucking perfect. Right? Come on. What are they doing? Boy, there's a nut I don't even want to crack open right now. Stinks. Yeah, so no, obviously the faction of Christianity that's much more rule based ran them pretty much out of the mainstream of the United States a long time ago. Or maybe took it over as that spirit kind of spread. I don't know. The idea of talking to, yeah, I guess it was around the Civil War that really everybody was like, wait, you can talk to the dead? Really? Let me get me some of that. Because I don't know. That's a missing connection. That I don't have. Why exactly is it? Because yeah, in the 17th and 18th century in the United States, you have this whole like proliferation, even into the 19th century, this whole proliferation of like Christian mystic communities, and then they just sort of peter out. They just sort of, and by obviously the 20th century, Christianity is very much I mean, you have the Pentecostals, but everybody thinks they're kind of kooky. But yeah, mainline Christianity. I mean, I don't know. The big denominations moved in, maybe. I don't know. It's the kind of thing that interests me. uh, Consequently, next week's video is either going to be something really interesting or something boilerplate. For funsies, because depends on what it is I end up sinking my teeth into in the next few days, if it's like on brand or not. Mine too. iPhone Pro, all not better. Oh, wow. No, I think that's what I have. Honestly, I got the second biggest one because I use the screen for editing my videos. So I don't want a tiny screen. That's very annoying. So yeah, basically, I'm just looking forward to spending a couple of days chilling with the fam and relaxing just the tiniest bit because the pressure's off. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. For now. I'm still gonna treat this more like a job. So thinking, shorts, right? One video and a bunch of shorts. That's my plan starting next week. And I'm not, obviously, I have to wait until after I make the video to do the shorts. So they might start Friday. Something like that. And I'll just roll it into my production routine because obviously I can be more productive than I was. I've proven that much. I don't know. Maybe anybody else out there has had this experience where, frankly, the last few years have been me climbing my way back up out of a hole. That's what it's been. And if you go back and look at the videos, it's probably obvious. I don't really go back and watch my old videos because I'm moving forward, Like, so I'm pleasantly surprised that I was able to hold this together this long. Especially right after having been summer vacation and everything's always crazy for a couple of months and everybody's home, I'll be able to do some critical reading this weekend. Right on. I got 2 books that I've had to be on my to be read for a while. Right on, right on. What did you get? Oh, I had somebody suggest one to me in the comments the other day that I really would love to get my hands on. Not that I have time to read anything. I have to keep reminding myself because I'm writing something. Oh. And I am. Not to mention, and this is terrible, I absorb other people's styles so easily. I have been reading something. I've been reading Charlie and the Chocolate Factory to my little guy at night, one chapter at a time. And then I went back and was writing, and I noticed my sentences are shorter, and my verbiage is a little more off center. And I just thought, can I blame Roald Dahl for this? Should I just run with it? Should I what? I mean, to be fair, some of the descriptions, I mean, it could use a little, a little bit more of a light touch. I've been very deliberate with it, and I want to go back and kind of, I am going back and sort of livening it up a little, stringing things together better, stuff like that. Then I'm gonna actually get to finish it at some point. Hooray! I don't know if that whole by the end of the year thing is still gonna happen now, but it's still something to shoot for. We've still got what, 4 months? Yeah. So maybe. Hey, nice. Yeah, right? So maybe. I might have part one ready by the end of the year for anybody to look at. We'll see how the next few weeks go and if I can pick up that pace again. Witches, Midwives, and Nurses by Barbara Ehrenreich. Oh, I bet that's good. As well as a book that I recently been inspired to read, Beauty and Misogyny by Sheila Jeffries. Oh, I'm sure that one's heavy. Mm. Not that Barbara Ehrenreich isn't heavy, but as far as I know of her, I actually worked a stage production of Nickel and Dimed like 20 years ago. Have you read that one? I haven't, but I feel like I have. You know what I mean? Like, I worked the sound on that production, so I heard every word every night for like 2 months. That was a really fun experience. Shout out to Cleveland Public Theater. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm a little slow. I admit to being tired. Even though I got plenty of sleep. Obviously, it's not that. It's mental tiredness. I'm a little sluggish in the old brain box today. I can't imagine why. The latter, the inspiration came from Amanda, who tagged us in a video dissecting Sheila Jeffries' book. Trigger warning. Oh, nice. I'm sure her interpretation of it was stunning. Did you watch it? I'm glad you're having as much fun with this as I am. Because, yeah, no, it's been fun. Educational and fun and just better branding I couldn't ask for, really. And it's been galvanizing, as I was saying on Wednesday, to set myself up against these people and their thoughts and arguments, because I find that I don't flinch at any of this information because I knew all of that stuff already. I did, and I commented, "Oh my god, oh my god, what's her interpretation? Just amazing." Would you mind? Or do you have a highlight to share, maybe? Oh. Mm. Coffee's gone early again today. Tut tut. No, it's funny because it's exactly what I went into the red pill guys thinking to myself. It's like, okay, if I'm going to piss somebody off and have them come at me, who do I want coming at me that's going to just tickle me to death? Who do I want hating me that's going to feed my soul? You know what I mean? So it worked. It worked so well. It worked beyond my wildest dreams. It just, maybe I need to approach more things like that. Huh? Wow. It just it creates my I am. I'm trying to get creative behind the scenes, and I don't necessarily mean with video topics, although yes, that as well. But how I choose the video topics, which direction, like it's more macro really. Which direction am I leaning in? Where do I want to, because with each video I am building something, right? And what shape do I want it to take? And this last week or two has been really great for that. I have got to say, so many cathartic, wonderful things. That's been really fun. So then, of course, we had to cap it off with Sal Grover and that ruling out of Australia. Apparently, men can be women in Australia. And if anybody can be a woman, then nobody is, I guess, essentially. At the end of the day, like, uh, that's terrifying precedent. From what I gather, Australian law works a whole lot differently than the United States law does and is much more reliant upon like international treaties and whatnot, which is interesting. Uh, and two, my American mind kind of backwards, but to each their own. However, it seems to have allowed them, to become embroiled in this nightmare because they're basing their stuff on international law and then their interpretation of that. So then all they have to do is tweak the interpretation and they can make all these changes without having to actually change the laws, without having to have a referendum, without having to do any of that shit. So that's fun. I'm not sure what she thought, really. It seemed that she was confused, maybe about what stance Sheila and the women talking about her book were taking. That would check out. That would track for me. She seems to be confused about what exactly the point of feminism is in general, right? Because none of that stuff threatened anything that I believe at all. I don't. Like I say, I found it quite galvanizing, actually. I still don't believe in demons. And the idea of, like I was saying earlier, that maybe things that have been demonized by our culture are, in fact, necessary and not evil. Nah. It's not so far-fetched. I mean, like, literally, you want to talk fire and brimstone? Volcanoes, right? What do? They erupt. They destroy a bunch of shit. And it's terrible for the people who live there. And then that ends up becoming super rich soil that, grows back. And that's why the people lived there in the first place. Because the soil was really rich from the time that it erupted before that. So I think it's because she doesn't comprehend that liberal feminisms and radical feminisms are almost polar opposite positions. Mm-hmm. I've encountered that misunderstanding many places too. I once had, that was part of the beginning of my feminist journey, was learning to differentiate between those two things, It's part of where I label myself under the radical umbrella, because to differentiate myself. Okay. Is why I hold many liberal views and am a feminist. I'm not a liberal feminist, Definitely not a conservative either, obviously. But most radical feminists are like, radical feminism and conservatism, I think, do not mesh. I just don't think those two go together, especially when you wrap the Christianity into it. And like, I think I sort of said this on Wednesday. How many conservatives are there, like actual cultural conservatives, who don't, at the end of the day, at the bottom of their little hearts, believe it's because God said? Do those people exist? Because she keeps tagging me in videos that she assumed that I'm going to get heated by. Right, yeah. My response is completely different from what she's expecting. She's expecting liberal answers. Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. I think that I have been supposed to be terrifically upset by all of this. I mean, clearly she's not trying to be my friend, right? And I recognize playground bully behavior when I see it. Like, so I'm guessing that this was all supposed to upset me. Swing and a miss. I don't know. Both conservatives and liberals are fundamentally different from radicals. Yes. But But radical as a category is like not a thing that is known to most Americans. They don't like that's not, you know what I mean? So I want to differentiate myself from liberals, and I'm definitely not a conservative. So, but I've had many people assume that I am, liberal, blah blah blah. And like I say, I had to work on my own, like intellectually, to make the differentiation for myself before I, even began to try and articulate it for anybody else. And when I say liberal, I kind of mean like with a little L, you know, like egalitarianism, like everybody is equally worthy. All human beings have equal worth, and, basic human rights should include things like a basic standard of living, you know, nobody should starve to death with food all around. Like that's, I know it's been shadowed within society so it doesn't upset the social order. Yeah. Yeah. And discredited all over the place. Like, I literally had some poor misguided soul comment under my video, my Rachel Wilson video, that something along the lines of, I don't remember the exact wording, excuse me, but something along the lines of, wow, I didn't know feminism was demonic. It's like, blah, 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 blah. That's not the point I'm getting at, But yeah, if you believe in that stuff, you know, like her logic's not bad. Her framing is bad. Her conclusions are bad. Her conclusions are flawed by, her skewed worldview going into the whole thing. As a fundamentalist Christian, you probably expect demons in feminism. I do love the thing about the spirit table, though. That cracked me the fuck up. I said I wasn't going to talk, but look at me go. Well, it's been fun. It's fun. Thank you. I guess Belle's asleep or stressing out. I don't know. It saves me the trouble of trying to sit here and talk to myself. I don't know. I figure if there's nobody here, if there's nobody saying anything, I'll just put the video back on and we'll listen to that because I liked it. Like I say, I thought it was pretty lean and well over 10 minutes. So you're welcome, YouTube algorithm. And what up, Kelly? Looks like you missed a bit. Yeah, a little bit. That's okay. You missed the premiere too. That's okay. I saw that. I saw your comment. It's fun. It's fine. I do it because to try and drum up interest, really. I love that you guys come for them regularly, and that is so amazing. I'm hoping to maybe attract new people too, Which reminds me, I never ask you guys to share the videos. Yo, at least I watched the video first. Yeah. Thank you. What did you think, by the way? What did you think? I liked it, but I made it, so. I don't really ask you guys to share the videos, but yeah, it's been slow going for a while. So please, if you have, socials or people you think might enjoy them, please do share them. Okay, please. That's a free thing you could do. That would be probably the most amazing supportive thing that you guys could do for the channel. Because, we believe in this message, right? Women are people and feminism maybe needs a revamp. I think it was really well done to the point and entertaining. Thank you. There was a point yesterday afternoon where I looked at it and I'm like, oh my God, I'm juggling these clips around. I don't know. And yeah, I do. I think Sal Grover is a modern day hero. I do. Very inspiring. I can't share except on Twitter because it's always caused huge family drama. They know what I think. Yeah. Well, Twitter is great. Anywhere is great. Because I don't even have time to do Twitter. I recreated. I had to create a new account. I guess I've been gone for so long. I guess my old one got pinned. But so that's depressing. I had like 2,000 followers too. No. But and then I haven't even really had time to get back to it. It's so frustrating. Maybe once I get the hang of doing shorts every week, I will try and work that in this fall. Because Twitter looks like a good place, if only because they're not going to come after me for being a turf, right? If nothing else, they have bigger fish to fry. And I know that there's still a lot of discourse goes on over there, and it is a place to go viral, so. And at this point, I'm sitting on all this material, and I'm just kind of waiting for that one thing that's going to hit that sweet spot. You know what I mean? So it does. It kills me that I can't do the self promotion. So I'm going to look more seriously at that, which was the plan anyway before all this popped off. So, recheck. Elon unbanned a lot of gender critical ones, but they still have weird censorship. Okay. But like me, I don't know. Maybe this is just because I'm me. I am me, but I don't feel like I'm far from the most outrageous person out there, is what I'm saying. I'm sure they have weird censorship. Everybody has weird censorship. But, like, I don't know. Again, my web developer friend suggested maybe I try Facebook again. And everything I hear about Facebook is that it's essentially where boomer philosophy has gone to eat its own tail. So that sucks. And I don't necessarily need those people in my audience. I don't necessarily know that my message would hit home with a lot of those people. So, yeah. I don't know. TikTok or Instagram seems to be more demographically suited. The thing about either of those is I would literally basically be doing it to try and get people to come to the YouTube, which seems like that's weird, right? I mean, at least on Twitter, I know that there is like discourse goes on and like there's other stuff to do. I don't know. I'm less familiar also with TikTok and Instagram, so maybe there's more interactivity that goes on there and I just don't know. The whole thing is a bit frustrating. What up, geek girl? How you doing? And we have such a nice little crowd. I've said this before. If we ever do hit that sweet spot and have one pop off, then, well, the influx of new people is something to be dreaded sometimes, I think. But I certainly sincerely believe in this message and what I'm trying to do. That, yeah, mainstream feminism sucks. Okay, fine. So let's fix it. I don't know. That's the conclusion I slowly came to after wringing my hands over the state of things for several years. And really the clincher has been no, that discovery that, like, not to go back to mysticism again, but I'm going to go back to mysticism again. Like, literally, like, every religion, everything, every faith, every esoteric sacred truth comes from some dude having a vision. So, maybe the fact that it doesn't all feel super accurate to my perspective in the world on the world should not be such a surprise. And B, maybe that's okay. Maybe we can just forge our own philosophies and look at what's worked for the past, but not you know like we don't have the idea that we have to either throw everything away or go back to some traditional perfect framework. Like, I just don't believe in either of those things. I use URL because it's nerdy. I got my MCSE. What's that? Masters of Computer Science and Engineering in 2000. Oh, nice. It depends. Having a big platform, you lose community, but more people collectively can change things around society. Right. And that is my goal, really. I'm trying to make waves, but like not because, not for myself. You know what I mean? Like, uh, which I'm sure will become a greater conflict if I actually get any success with this, because I'm not doing this because I want notoriety. That's not Microsoft Systems Engineer. Ooh, nice. Also good. Um, have you had that handle since then? I know people who've used the same handle for years and years. It's starting to get hot out here, and we only have a few minutes. Yes, awesome, nice, nice. It's almost time to go, sadly, and I'm gonna have to go because ooh, I'm brain dead. I know I was saying something a minute ago. Oh yeah, trying to make waves and like I don't know. You don't throw the stone in the pond because you love the stone, right? You throw the stone in the pond to see the splash and the ripples go out. Like it's closer to that. Like I'm throwing myself out there, you know. Because if you want to make waves, whatever you got, you can't keep it to yourself. That's just not how it works. And I just don't see anybody else making these waves I want to ride. Does that make sense? I hope that metaphor isn't too tormented. Splash, splash. Yeah, right. Oh boy. Maybe I'll start a channel, but I'm technology stunted. I'm good at a lot of things, but computer tech isn't one of them. Yeah, that's as I say. I literally went to school for a lot of this shit, so I figure why not, right? I figured this is a good avenue for me. The avenue is different for everybody, I think, and that's fair. I would love to see you start a channel. I would love for everybody to start a channel, but I recognize that this is not for everybody. You know. Also, quick question: next week there's only one Wednesday stream, right? Yes, yes. We're just gonna go back to the old routine, and I'm gonna put out a bunch of shorts to support the thing and see if that helps. Also, I mean, as I say, I don't think the quality has suffered like I was afraid it would. But at the same time, I think I can put together like a better, more in depth, more whatever, more interesting. I'm looking forward to putting more energy and a little more time into next week's video. Dope. I should have submitted my thesis in the morning that day, so I'll be able to jump on and tell you all that I'm done. Awesome! Also, I'll also be waiting at an airport, so lots of time to watch on my phone. Sweet. Ooh. And you're the one who recommended me a channel to go and look into, right? A video specifically, right? Of some ridiculous red pill dude. So I'm gonna go look at that over the weekend. I'm gonna, I have a few things I'm gonna go look at and see if they are the one. I'd have you on to interview, then maybe next week I'll get Miranda on. As long as you don't put me alone in a room with that woman. I don't think she fights fair. That might be fun. Yeah, it might. I mean, It has to be in that order, though, right? So she has time to listen to everything I say so she can refute me. Right? No worries, I got this. I don't know how serious you are, but, let me know, I guess. I recommend maybe finding somebody to help you with the computer stuff, the filming or the editing or whatever. Having a two-person team is probably easier on the old eyeballs and psyche anyway. Oh, go cat. Yeah, go cat. Yeah, not everything you say, not the videos, just the live streams. Yeah, right. Just the unscripted stuff. Well, I mean, to be fair, if you're looking for the real truth, that is probably where it would lie, I suppose, by that logic. I'm too ugly for a camera. Oh, don't be ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. No. No, 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 I don't believe it. I mean, even if you were somehow disfigured, but I'm presuming you're a normal human being. No. Look at reality television. There is no such thing as a normal human being that's too ugly for a camera. That doesn't exist. I'm skeptical. I look horrible on camera. Cleft lip, crooked nose. Is this the that's you're entitled to your opinion. But the idea that anyone is too ugly to be on camera, I would take exception to that. If you're not comfortable on camera, that's your, prerogative. But I would never say that anyone is too ugly to be on camera. Don't worry, I have low self esteem. I don't have low self esteem. I just don't want to brush my hair. Relatable. Like I say, if you're not comfortable on camera, many people are. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. Okay. This is not my native environment. As I say, I have certain practical reasons for doing things the way I'm doing them. And while I would love everyone to start a channel, I understand that that's not practical for a lot of people. It's not. That's fine. I do still have the dream, though. Of the YouTube community. Like other people have YouTube communities, right? There are whole communities out there behind the scenes of various different genres who all kind of work together, who all kind of know one another, and sometimes work together. That is a dream. That would be nice. Da-da-da-da. I also don't want to brush. I don't want to brush my hair either. That's why I shaved it off. Problem solved. That's right. We've talked about that before, and you love it, right? Good for you. So that would be you on camera with a shaved head. That's awesome. Oh, so you have to reshave it. Excuse me, periodically, right? So like, do you ever like make it up? Do you ever like? I don't know. I don't know how, why, or what you would do. Like put makeup on it somehow, or like glitter, or like I don't know. Do you ever do that kind of thing? Like, the world is your oyster at that point. Your head is your oyster at that point. Yeah, you do. Okay, you have to reshave it every so often. I had short hair for a long time, but it grows so slowly. I stopped cutting it. Yeah. Oh my god, I stopped cutting my hair during COVID and ended up with it long enough to sit on. Did not expect that to get that. I did not expect it to get that long. I did not expect. You know. Okay, but you can wear any kind of hat you want, right? I don't know. The idea is interesting to me, and I feel like with my giant Scottish head, I've never thought that it would be a fetching look for me personally. But yeah, the idea of just being, oh my god, to hell with it, has definitely occurred to me. Never got my hair that long in my life. Right. I didn't think it was possible that my hair would get that long. I mean, it was long to start with. It was about halfway down my back to start with. And by 3 years later, yeah, I was sitting on it. Whoops. 2 years later, something like that. I don't do anything because I have more important things to do than give a shit about my appearance. Right on. Right on. Personally, I enjoy it as a mode of self expression, but your mileage may vary. Or maybe that's what you're expressing, that you have more important things to worry about. Yeah. Does anybody know what these tiny little lavender fluffy things are called? They look like giant dust motes or little wisps of cotton, or they're just all over the place and they're so adorable. Near the start of my transition, I shaved all my hair off and have literally never gotten a cut since. It stopped growing at about my mid back length, though. Not far below my shoulders. Right, right, right. I've heard that everybody has a terminus for their hair. I've also heard that that's not true. Uh, Based attitude, yeah, right? Yeah. No, and if that's not one of your favorite modes of self expression, that's cool. That's cool. You know, I express myself enough with belligerence. Nice, nice. Right on, right on. Menno had a video reaction to a comedian who claimed hers are ugly. Lol, I flamed her Facebook page. Turfs are people, yo. We all look a little different. So you are still trans, Bill. So are you still trans, Bill? Oh my god, it's after 1 o'clock. You guys are so cool. That's so engaging. Seriously, I lost track of time again. So we'll work through this, and then I'm gonna go. Yes, lol. I'm just curious how you came to a more gender critical chat. An obvious question. Belligerence is gonna be the name of my punk band. Ha! Nice. I'm just being nosy. No, no, it's a good question. It's the obvious question. That's what I'm saying. It does beg the question. And you know, Belle is a big contributor to the channel, so I'm just so not, you know, I hate trans people so vehemently. I basically peaked and became full turf like a year or two ago. Have since mellowed out a bit, and I'm still sympathetic to my many turf reviews. And I like Rad Mom. Oh, I like you too. See, and that's agreeing to disagree on things has enabled us to, you know, create that relationship. And I think I love that. That's not what I'm saying. I think I started watching her with her vid on the Wii Spa thing. Well, that's not what I'm saying. But please clarify. I will never see Belle as trans. He's gender nonconforming in my mind, and that's wonderful. And I don't feel like I'm in a position to tell anybody what they are like that. That's something ironically that I am pretty. Ween Spa is my nickname for it. Yeah. It's so funny how well everybody remembers that one, huh? Mm-mm-mm. Well, it's cool you can listen and engage and not be upset by simple feminism. Yeah, right. I don't believe in trans. No, I don't either. I don't either. I personally have theories about other people's, beliefs about themselves, but it's not my place to sit here and psychoanalyze everybody. And somebody like Bell's literally finishing up a PhD, so it's not as if I can sit here and talk about dysfunctionality, at least from where I'm sitting. Okay, I simply you have to live and let live. I get that a surprising amount. Some people say I even sound like a detransitioner. Well, I guess you were one for a while, so that makes some sense. I always think it's great when trans people can understand, engage with women on this issue while actually understanding. Right. No one's, and I'm the only reason I'm not on a crusade to eradicate trans people. Hopefully, if a lot of the stuff that I believe in gets any traction, that won't be necessary. No, I know. Right. But I just like to clarify. I like to clarify, as I've said. Better to over explain than leave important things unsaid. And no, it's Bell, brings interesting things to the conversation and engages in a really positive way. That's my standard. Constructive versus destructive. Bell, you engage in a very constructive and positive way, and I really appreciate that. And I don't care necessarily what you do at home. Okay, that's not my business. It is for me, lol. I totally analyze and judge people. I'm not saying I don't. I'm saying that's not like my business to say. Okay. Not that I'm secretly judging you, Belle. That's not what I need to say. But like, either way, okay. It's not for me to tell other people how to live. I just can't force people to believe what I think and say. Yeah. That's why I don't bother to say it a lot of the time because I know it doesn't matter. And that doesn't like, that's all my opinions. I don't know. That's just how it is. I don't expect other people to tell me how to live either. Right. People can be trans and we can have sex segregated spaces. Thanks. And I fully agree. Right. Yeah. That would be a compromise. Out there playing judgery-do. Kitty. Yeah. Well, she did say that she expresses herself through belligerence. So there you go. I don't know. How do you think she fuels that? No. And I tried to make the differentiation the other day between being judgmental, where, it's like a knee jerk thing, and making judgments based on repeated experience of the same thing over. Like, are you supposed to just not learn from life? And it's another example of one of those words that has become sort of tortured, right? Like discrimination. To be discriminating in who exactly it is you associate with is not a bad thing, right? Um, but then to discriminate is like a professional thing. That is a legal term. That is a different thing. That's sexism and racism and that kind of stuff in like a professional setting or an educational setting. Like it's literally not the same thing. Right? Being judgmental is what everyone does. Well, it says unfounded opinions. Dare we say it? There's a difference between, some opinions are simply more well founded than others. Shock. There's a crazy statement. I mean, schools technically discriminate against child molesters. Right. Because they are discriminating in their hiring practices. And that's exactly the kind of bullshit that this is. Okay. This is like a child molester suing a school system for not hiring them. And the school system doesn't get, dinged for direct discrimination because nobody can prove they didn't hire him because he's a child molester. But it's pretty obvious that that's why. So indirect discrimination is awarded. And it's like, well, say all of a sudden you're not allowed to discriminate against child molesters when there are children involved? Since when? Not that all men are child molesters, but the ones who are who are, want to cross women's boundaries are behaving like predators. Won't somebody please think of the child molesters? Yeah, right. I've literally seen stuff like that. Not a lot of it, but we judge things and people whether people admit it or not. Yeah, right. No, that's literally how you go through life. Just by making value judgments. What do I want to eat tonight? I don't know. What sounds better? Little shit like that, all the way up, right? Oh my God, Bella spit my pop. God, Bella, it's crazy because it's getting to that point. You know, and Sal mentioned how this ruling in Australia over there anyway makes it so if sex is changeable, then you can't have any male spaces either. So the ripple effects of this one might be a lot of fun. We're gonna have to see what their high court says, and I don't know exactly how long that's gonna be or how many more levels they have. They said it was the federal court, but apparently that's not their high court, which we have federal courts that aren't the Supreme Court. So okay, so maybe that's next, which is why this is a big deal. Anyway, it's so hot out here, you guys, and my throat hurts, and I gotta go. Thank you so much for all of your support. This whole month has been crazy. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday. Okay? Going back to the regular schedule. So, everybody have a good weekend, okay? And my smoke's gone out again. Y'all want to say goodbye? Usually we do. Happy Labor Day! Oh, yeah. 3-day weekend. I'm sure we will. See you next week. Yep. Everybody have a good weekend, and I will see you later. You have a great one, y'all. Yeah, you too, Bo. All right, guys. Bye-bye. See you next time.